It's that time. It's time for Monster of the Week. Now, this is post-patch 1.10, so we have our new Phobies, we have our new maps, and we're going to see if the players are able to take advantage of either one or both. Now, before we jump into the games, I, of course, have to let you know that I'm part of the Content Affiliate Program. That means that the Phobies team does, in fact, give me coffee for producing Phobies content. They're also providing the prizes for Monster of the Week, our weekly tournament series where everything is set to level 1. And you get coffee just for showing up and playing. All you got to do is play, and you're going to walk away with some coffee. But let's see what the players did in the games for this particular event. Let's jump into it. All right, game number 1 from Event A. We're going to be looking at PVZ Furmaid versus Endless Pain. Now, we're here on Mesomia. I don't know all the names of the maps yet. I think so. I think this is the one that I wasn't sure what the name was when we looked at the breakdown. So PVZ is leading off with kind of the expected opener for this map, and that is, of course, Snowball to the center. It gets there. Now, Endless here is taking a more unique take. This feels... there's another map. I want to say Phobopolis, but it's not Phobopolis. Is it Phobopolis? There's one where putting a flyer on the obstacle like this is somewhat common just in order to try and lock down an area. Now, I don't know that I love it because, well, in this case, I guess it's fine. PVZ is not going to be able to present a threat. You can cap that point, or you can threaten the cat right away. That's actually a better idea. I do like that, poking at it, because if the cat goes in to take the point or tries to retaliate, it's going to die, and you're going to be able to get out of there without too much issue. The follow-up from Endless is the Cassowary that came out earlier in order to supplement the, I almost said Blinky, but it's not Blinky, it's Tooth Fairy. And I do like where that is now. The subtle mistake here, maybe, is allowing the Snowball to snipe this cat. Is that all that important? It might not be. 3-1 panic point advantage for our orange player. Follow-up, Rambolina. All right. So Henrietta here is going to be able to connect with, again, I was going to say Blinky, but Tooth Fairy. And we get some Goon action coming into our lives. Gotta love it when Goon shows up. We talked a little bit about this during the breakdown. I'm pretty sure we mentioned it on this map. But both of the new large maps that are in the pool do have the potential for Goon to make a play. We're getting some snipes here. The Tooth Fairy is going to die, or I expect it to. So it's, I guess this is acceptable. What's good, PVZ? Luffy, what's good? Alright, so we get the Goon Blom. Snipes the boom. Poor positioning by our orange player with the boom. Gotta put in a little extra effort to kill this Blinky, but we do also get the connection here down on Murder Wing, which is going to be long-term valuable, I guess, question mark. I've mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of Henrietta's poison, even on things like undeads, because it is so low that it is often trivial to heal it off. But our orange player is kind of in a weird spot. With 7 keys, they don't really have something that they can safely do here. You know, like, they get the shot here on the Tooth Fairy, but our orange player, or excuse me, our blue player is in a pretty decent spot to back off and defend what they have. Or play a little more aggressively. I guess this Rambolina, I'm not going to bother to pause it to look at the numbers. This is why I think the HP bar should always be up. But the Tooth Fairy is presumably going to be able to tank this Rambo. Staying a little bit out of range, not really, actually, of this Hercules. Hercules can walk onto the stem. This has to be a bait from our blue player, or otherwise, why would you do this? I don't think the Goon can die. Even double hits here, as well as the Hercules. I think that was a mistake, but I guess it didn't matter. The only reason I say it's a mistake is you could have done extra damage off the stem, but it would have positioned the Hercules much farther away from the action because it would have to rotate around the obstacle, probably taking another half turn or a full turn to try and get repositioned. So here it can cover the center with much less difficulty. Getting the cooked Hercules. Goon also on cleanup duty. This Rambolina has absolutely seen better days. I don't think it's done a single boop yet. You got a Frosty. Congrats. Put that to good use. Frosty's pretty sick. You have something I don't have. Alright, counter shove shark's going to allow the Hercules to eliminate the Inoculus. That's a pretty solid pick there. I don't believe the Hercules can die, although the Bombs should be live, and we get a follow-up Ginsting brother, the Mario half. We actually get the Bomb to take down the Rambo. Putting pressure onto Hercules. Collector? Collector? I didn't know it was tax season. Does he eat the paperwork? I'm pretty sure oh no, he eats like a rat or something that runs around him, right? I forget Collector. So yeah, Collector is like freakishly tall. I don't understand why they made him 9 feet tall. And even the Phobies that like generally we've talked about the scaling in Phobies. And it's funny. It's just hilarious. Ooh, we get a powered-up Ogre. Slap. Powering down the Shove Shark. That allows Ogre to close the gap. Half health on Goon, so it's probably not long for this world, but the Collector is in play. Well, it was 3-2 panic point advantage blue. It's now the other way going orange. In fact, it's a dead Goon. 0 keys to 0 keys. Orange player's not in a great spot. Very, very damaged Hercules. Healthy Scritch and Hematic, but no more Shove Shark. Panic point advantage blue, and I'll be honest, I never thought I'd say this, but how are you going to beat Collector and Ogre? Like, that is not something I thought I was going to say. Getting a juiced up, whatever it is, Murderer Bees. Oh, look at Ginsting here. Hercules here. What the hell is this? Murderer Bees. It is a murder. Is Murderer Bees the correct grouping term for bees? I feel like that's not correct. Somebody go look that up right now and let me know down in the comments. Honestly, I don't think Collector mattered. I think Collector could have basically been any Phobie. Like any 8 key just about. It could have been a high 5 and it would have been fine. Arguably, it might have been better. But the Ogre Collector duo, slap. Is that death by 1,000 paper cuts? Do you think he hits him with the flat end of the paper? I gotta see the animation again. The flat end of the paper or the side, so he's like slicing him. Alright, we're about to find out. That looks like the flat end, so it's really just he's hitting him with a ream of paper. Which is kind of like getting hit with a telephone book. It's pretty thick. It probably doesn't feel good. GG. All right, we're sticking with Endless Pain, I guess. We're here on Chapeltown, another one of the new maps up against Killer Ox. Let's see what we got going on. I got a sneak peek because I happened to actually look at the game, like the MVPs when we loaded in, but shh. No spoilers. No spoilers. Hopefully I'll remember to chop it up in editing properly. So we get an interesting opener here. Endless Pain choosing not to go with the 3-mover to cap the center. Instead, we get a 3-mover in Werewolf coming out of Killer Ox. Let's see what happens on the rest of this game. It's definitely an interesting opener here. This is pretty interesting. I'm using the word interesting a lot, and I'm going to say it again. Interesting. As I'm cooking in this hat. Like, I love this hat, although, to be honest, I think it's time for me to retire this hat. Like, it's just very, very old, and it doesn't, like, when I put it on, it, like, doesn't fit. It's very comfortable, but it doesn't feel like it fits right anymore. But I feel silly because it's like there are no holes in it or anything. You know what I mean? Like it's not falling apart. So I don't know. We'll see. Getting early Rusty coming out. Rusty since the buff, definitely much more prominent. We're getting a Boggart. Oh, Endless. I didn't even know you had these. Or did I know? Maybe I knew. I don't know. I'm glad that people chose the new maps to try and showcase some of this. Obviously, not everyone's going to have access to the new Phobies. Those are much more difficult to acquire rather than selecting a map to play in frenemies. But I'm glad that people did choose the new maps. I put all 3 new maps, and then I forget what the 4th one was. I think it was Dearly Departed, is that? Yeah, Dearly Departed, I think, was the other map. Ooh, we're getting a block here to try and hold off the foul. I don't think that's going to do a whole lot. I mean, I guess you can't clear out the cat easily. So that means you can't disease, like, the Gravedigger or the Boggart. Well, you could get the Gravedigger if you swing onto the poison tile, but you're not going to do that because you're just throwing away your foul. Yeah, I think this pool was pretty interesting, but we'll see how these maps do long-term. We were discussing it the other night, and, I mean, I can see some potential problems, but we'll see if they actually manifest. It's one thing to say, oh, well, this could be a problem, and it's another thing to say, oh, this actually is a problem. So I would mess with the ad timer thing, because this is the Twitch ad timer on the overlay there. But since the other one kept breaking, I don't really want to mess with it, so I'm going to leave it alone and maybe do it offline. I got to do some other tweaks to fix some issues I'm having with the UI here. By the UI, I mean the overlay. So we're maxed out on the part of our blue player. Nowhere near that for our orange player, but a lot of keys were invested into these Phobies, so they don't have anything banked. What do you look for in a good map, though? I want the hearts to be exposed. I want the hearts to be exposed in a way that you can meaningfully threaten a heart push. You know, like you could, if your opponent decides to miss position or they end up in just a bad spot, or you're able to take a bunch of good fights and therefore push them into a bad position. That way you can have that threat there. Good snipe on the jar here. I assume this Hevo's dead. Like, why would you invest? But you're going to get boomed. Wait, did you just rusty the cowbell? Why did that just happen? But to finish answering the question, oh, okay, we're going to pick off the boom. Okay. Okay. I want you to be able to represent threats on all 3 win conditions. Either just holding panic points, pushing the heart, or killing all their Phobies. Because that forces the players to react on multiple axes and then inherently kind of pushes the game forward. Because if you're indecisive about one or all of them, your opponent can capitalize on different things. Or if you're ahead in 2 and they're really pushing 3, you have to respect it. So you can't just smother them with 2 win conditions. That's the ideal scenario. There are very few maps that can pull that off, not just because, like, oh, well, the devs screwed up the maps, but because it's just challenging to do. So this is a pretty deep dive. That's a nice heads-up play with the Shove Shark there to take down this foul. But I'm pretty sure the Werewolf transforms this turn. Inoculus is clearly dead, right? Because I don't believe that it, Alright, we're going to force the Klepto to come after it. Interesting. I guess this keeps the Ray in position if the Klepto decides to come in, because this is not enough damage solely the Tooth Fairy. I think Chapeltown is fun, at least for underrated spamming strat. Mesa Mia is also pretty good until now, even if player 2 is kind of crappy. Join the Attic is pretty good, just ruined by Sentinels, so is every map. I mean, I don't know how bad player 2 is on Meso, honestly. Like, I have no idea. Ooh, we're diving with the Werewolf, getting in there. 9 keys to 10 remaining. Like, this is dangerous, but everything's level 1, and given the positioning, it's going to be very difficult for our blue player to take down the Werewolf. And in fact, they're electing to not even bother. Collector. The Shove is down, in case anybody was wondering. Because otherwise you could have hypothetically shoved the Collector right into the Werewolf in order to have its abilities. By have its abilities, I mean its actions. I'm not sure why it's positioned here to take stray damage. I guess once you're poisoned, so there's no point in avoiding it. Still 10 keys remaining for our orange player. They have a panic point advantage. They had a key advantage, but now they have a Yeti, and there's really no way for Endless to try and fight this Yeti. No additional fire phobies can get added. They're out of keys. Now the Collector's usable, I want it. Endless made it look, I mean, well, I would say it made it look good in the first game, but let's be real. As I said, it could have been any, it could have basically been any phobia at that point, and I think it would have been fine. Is Collector going to get it done here? I don't know. I would suspect not. You got a melee phobie, a one-move melee phobie, versus 2 range phobies and help. It's a tough spot to be in, because as the blue player, you need to go in, and you just can't safely. Before I wanted Jeeves and Fire Ant. Yeah, they definitely encourage, obviously, trap gameplay being more passive. It's just the way the game works, right? The way the, I guess it's less the game, excuse me, and more the actual abilities, the mechanics. Collector's gonna connect once again, but yeah, that Yeti's not dead, so it's gonna freeze. I don't think Werewolf is live this turn, but it might be. And if it is, I think Endless just saw the writing on the wall and said, all right, I'm going to go out the way I want to go out. Yep. In fact, it is live. Slapping the Collector. Down he goes. I don't hate the idea of what Endless was trying to do, but I do feel like they gave up a lot of first player advantage by not just taking the center point in the beginning. Like, it's less about, oh, well, I'm chipping damage on their heart because I have more panic points. Yes, that's true, but it's also because you are proactively deciding how the board is going to play out. Because you took the panic point, your opponent has to come back in after you to reclaim. So then you can reset and hopefully collapse on them when they come back in. And I think giving that up may have played into this. Is it the only thing? No, of course not. There were a number of points where I think some phobies were just kind of hung out to dry. But either way, GG. All right, looking at another game on Chapeltown. This time, Master Dark and Potenzia. We'll see who takes this one. So, as compared to our last game, our first player is in fact taking the center panic point with Snowball right off the bat. Now, is that the only option? No, I'm sure that's not the case. As we talked about in the map breakdown from the other night, that Vile Vortex is another map similar to this, where the common opener for player 1 is 1 key plus Snowball. You take the center point, you get set up to take a couple other points on the following turn, and then you just kind of rotate as you develop the board. However, we've seen a lot of other high-level players, such as Karst, intentionally take other lines, such as not doing the standard opener. They'll go with 111 keys, they'll do other things, and it allows you to set up different strategies to utilize on the map. Maybe throw your opponent off, because they were expecting A, you went B, and their standard strategy is not quite going to fit. However, here, until we establish what those are, I think it's worth just taking what's the assumed thing is. So, I do like what Master Dark here did, took the aggressive panic point, their opponent's one, because you can always swing back and then back again. Now, there is the potential here that your opponent gets cute and tries to body block the Snowball in. but you already cooked the cowbell, so it's an easy takedown there for your Hevo. And now this is a 4-to-1 panic point advantage with things in position to cover the center. Now, I don't love the Hevo positioning. Nor do I like the boom positioning. Why do people keep doing this? I guess if you take their tickles for your boom, like, all right, they kill your boom. You kill their tickles. You're actually ahead at that point because now that thing is no longer on the board to really interact. Now, the reason I didn't like the Hevo positioning is exactly this. Because you're going to have to back it off anyway. There's no way that you're... Like, I don't think you can stay there. Maybe we'll see if Master Dark does, but it doesn't feel like you can really stay there and fight this. You don't have enough damage to kill the bow. Your opponent is no longer going to... Or maybe you do. Do you have enough damage here? No, there's no way, right? Okay, we're killing the tickles, so you 100% don't. So you're likely to be able to remove this bow from the board. All right, actually taking down the snowball. So we're getting some trades going on here, trying to dodge, presumably, the dial here. We saw a bunch of collector in the last couple games, and now we're seeing dial. Similar effects. Generally, I would say dial is better. I feel like it's just... It's much easier to use. It's much cheaper. It's certainly less sturdy. It's more fragile, but... And in fact, the bow does go down. And we get the dial connection anyway. So this is going to make it kind of challenging in order to actually kill the dial, because now the Hematic is trapped, and there's several things that are going to be in range if you don't walk it away. All right, looks like we are matching pullers here. Octonaughty versus Miss Moffat. Haven't seen Ash yet. Have yet to see Ash. Ash didn't appear. Yeah, I mean, it's of course going to be... It's only a few days after the update. Not many people have new phobies yet. Ginseng getting its spa on, I guess. Sure. So the pressure at the moment is on our blue player. They did flip the panic points in their favor at this stage, and now we have a Hydra. I do like this idea. We'll see if it matters. So that was actually a scenario, what we were just looking at, where let's assume that the Moffat was Ash for a second, as opposed to being Shove Shark. It could have pulled the Hydra closer, but the Shove Shark would have had to, like, hang out in a less threatening position. So, realistically, you're not going to use Ash as an attacker until you've already gotten some value or you have no other choice. But Shove Shark inherently has to hang back, so maybe on maps like this where you want something that's potentially combat-ready faster? I don't know. I'm trying to come up with reasons to use Ash. Alright, we're getting the invade here. Not 100% clear on the value of the break. I mean, yeah, you can get the Jin Sting here, but there's nothing in position to... Like, what's Master Dark gonna do? Run the Jin Sting in to die? That doesn't make any sense. The original Omega. The Alpha, if you will. We got some brownie. This feels like it's not quite Scopaceum. Because you can't, or maybe not that you can't, but it's more challenging to just Brony their whole team, and then hard push. Alright, looks like it's happening. I mean, that's a good chunk of the team. It's only Hematic and Electricat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 keys available, though. 0 keys available for our orange player, so there is the potential that Potenzi could put something really mean and nasty on the board. But at the moment, like, it's Hematic, Ginsting, and a pull from Miss Moffat. That's all you got. Maybe a Terraform, I guess. Because the cat is so far back, it can't even interact. Barzilla. I don't know about that one. Barzilla in the precise position to get dialed. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know about the dial. Or allowing the dial, I mean. I mean, I guess it would have been very difficult to position it in a meaningful place. But you had Terraform, so, like... First of all, I don't know why you went Barzilla to begin with, but... We're here now. Dude, you had to sink 3 attacks into that. That sucks. That's a feels bad man moment. I have no idea what this Gravedigger is doing. I guess to try and... like... draw the Tooth Fairy to the south? Trap it, kind of? Because it's gonna kill it? I don't know if it actually kills it, but we'll find out momentarily. Evo goes down. Blue player's stuff is back online once again. Yes, in fact, the Gravedigger dies. I believe Octonauty can pull, and yeah, that Ginsting's really beat up. Wiggy! This can't be enough damage. Wow. Huh. Alright, we're trying to make a game of it. Taking down a few Phobies. We do have the Ginsting on the Spa. If our orange player wants it, they can, in fact, take it down anyway, I think, through the Spa. 2 hits from Hevo and then another one from Ginsting. But that's splash damage going down on the heart. And by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1 panic points. 6 to 0 panic points. That's not going to feel good. GG. Got him. A lot of panic points will do you in. GG. Alright, we're looking at Event B. We're here on Dearly Departed, not one of the new maps. I mean, it's newer, but not from the new patch. Lord Shinra and Sentry. Let's see what we've got coming out here. We got a Maggie and Henrietta. It's Team Bugs. It is Team Bugs. I don't know how people feel about this map. It was selected a fair amount in previous Monster of the Week, so I guess it's fairly popular. I'm not sure. Chat, it is hot. I might have to put the fan on, then you guys tell me if the sound is really bad. So I am cooking. I had it on pretty much all day. I only turned it off a little while ago so that I wouldn't forget it, like, once the stream started, and it's hot. All right, quick pick on the spider here. Getting replaced by our blue player's spider. And also getting the cowbell in position to cap the top center panic point. All right, standing their ground with the cowbell. That thing's going to die. This is... I guess this is fine. Maggie's able to cap the top center. Ooh, we get one of the new Phobies. Sabian? Sabian. I had to think for a second, because I kept saying the wrong name the other night. So if our orange player wants to dive, they will get a multi-hit here with the Sabian, but like it's probably dead. Almost certainly dead. You're not going to get any value out of it, so this is probably going to have to get pulled back. I guess we're going to take the kill here on the cowbell with the cassowary. The problem is that don't both of those just die? I don't even think this Gravedigger is dead. Okay, you got the jar to help. So, Snowball, Murderwing, and Ginsting can reposition and kill 4 keys in the north, and I think you take that trade. Your down panic points is Shinra. Oh, you didn't even need to fireball here. Did you? Maybe you did. Because you can move up and then bees and get them with a splash. Alright, you don't have to because it's going to die to the fire. So that's fine. Either way, you had to burn one of the cooldowns. Had to burn one of the cooldowns. Follow-up Ray is certainly going to chase away the Sabian. While I adore seeing blue, the newly buffed blue, I'm not really clear why it's here. I'm not gonna lie. Kerbloom! Alright. Probably the rarest of all of the Boom family. And Minotaur. Okay. I don't know about that one. Seems suspect. Little muffin action. I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like our blue player is just, like, in complete control of this game. Yeah, I don't agree with this at all. You're not killing that. You're not killing this. You're gonna get punished pretty hard. All 4 of these Phobies, the Murderwing, the Ray, the Ginsting, and the Innocuous, can retaliate here. And even if you kill the... And that doesn't account for anything that comes out of the vault. But even if you kill the Ginsting on the counterattack to the counterattack, you're probably still in a bad spot. The Murderwing could snipe the jar, too. That Minotaur stepped a little bit too far outside of its labyrinth. Pop goes the jar. 12 keys to 10 keys remaining, but that's a pretty big blue army and a significantly smaller orange one. You can try and get a pick here, but that means that this is going to die. And probably this is going to die too. And you're popping the Kerbloom to trade with the Murderwing. I mean, that's +1 key, but if you're putting one of those Phobies on the board, you're kind of setting up for a much larger play, and that doesn't feel like it's doing enough. Yeah, you probably we're not going to challenge play it. Fair. Clinico heals this up because you're going to be exposed to Daisy momentarily. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no. One of those times that the low damage comes in handy. Don't quite kill the snowball. Let the fire cook it. Daisy and Russell versus the world. Yeah. 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 This is why the devs buffed Russell. Sure. Sure. Russell could get a multi-hit here. Is that really what you want? I don't know. Instead, we're going to get the Caw. But our orange player sees the writing on the wall and honorably offers up their Phobies for their demise. Boop. Down goes Daisy. Incidentally, this is maybe not this scenario, but every time I see Daisy die, all I can imagine is how much worse it's going to be for Benny. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for Benny. I'll be honest. But GG. Happen in this game, we're going to find out. Lord Shinra versus Potenzia. Something over-designed, that's what you would play. Yeah, 10 turns. I'm very curious as to how this game ended in 10 turns. But yeah, I'm not sure how to play the meta for these events. Yeah, I'm really unclear. Alright, so we're getting kind of... I was going to say a Vile Vortis Player 2 response, but not really, because you kind of want Cassowary for that. Like, maybe you go Snowball 1-key Cassowary, but the Cassowary can't really get into position to threaten anything but the center tile, which doesn't really do anything for you on this map, so I guess this is fine. Alright, Hevo v. Hevo. We're gonna trade fireballs, I guess. I do like the cowbell positioning because this allows the cowbell to retaliate against the other cowbell once the tickles goes down, because presumably that's what's going to happen. However, it can just do this and shift, so it's just the threat of the retaliation. Although, I guess this cowbell could also slide up and attack the snowball, but I don't think that's enough damage. Will Joy Break happen after this match? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Slap. Yep, it survives with a sliver of health. Over-designed toy. It's got to be a Transformer, because I could probably pick... I don't know if I have any down here, because I don't really like a lot of them, and I've been trying to, like, get rid of them. Like, any of the Bayverse Transformers are like that. They're all way over-designed. I didn't like it at the time. Like, it was... Transformers designs kind of go in cyclical waves where it's... So if we start with the 80s stuff that was super basic, right? You fold the guy in half and it's like, here's your box. Whatever it turns into. You know, like it's a car. It folds, it's a plane. It folds the body up underneath and pops out wings. All right, great. You got a plane. You know, super simple things because they're children's toys. And then over time, they got way, way more complex. And then you hit a certain point where it's like, okay, the complexity is too high. It's not actually fun to do this. I don't want a Rubik's Cube. And then it all comes down again until it hits, we'll call it rock bottom, but that makes it sound bad. Uh-oh, I think the game is over here. So Hematic went down. This Gonzo is stranded because there's nothing in range to buff. I can kind of understand why the surrender came in. GG. I'll be honest, when I first saw the tagline for Nona on the book, where it's is it Nona loves you and you will love Nona, or it's you love Nona and Nona loves you, or something like that. And given the rest of the series, it sounded super ominous. It sounded incredibly ominous, but after you meet the character, my wife's favorite thing is we're now going to... like, she'll just randomly come up to me and go, "Oh my god, I forgot Noodle!" Alright, so we're getting matching. Speaking of Noodle, we got some dueling dogs. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you're watching this on YouTube, check out The Locked Tomb. It's a series of books, Gideon the Ninth, Harrow the Ninth, and Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. Very well done. Probably my favorite, up there as one of, if not my favorite book series ever. Boggart dropping the bombs. Do frogs do this? Yeah, they do. I know lizards will do this. They'll clean their eyes with their tongue. So I guess this is not like... Is this Boggart just dead? This Boggart's just dead, isn't it? Dude, really? Koro, I am disappointed. That left much to be desired. I'm not gonna lie, the game is like basically over from this point, right? You traded Boggart for Ginsting. Okay, it's Boggart for Cat and Ginsting. Let's see what Master Dark's follow-up is. Obviously, Henrietta can go down. I don't think... I guess there's a world in which they can... Master Dark could lose the Daisy, but it's unlikely, right? Does this kill it? Oh, no. Not like this. Alright, so we're getting a bloodbath in the center of the map here, chat. Didn't want opponent to attack first in Battleground, so I made the entire board stealth. Wait, what? Is that really how that works? How did you even do that? Did you just have like 80 of that one spell? Slow demise from there. My other two games had triple freezes. Fair. Wiggy. We've talked about this on many occasions in other game breakdowns. Oh, well, are you Ashara or are you Lady Vaj? Because both of them are... Oh yeah, they're still bad. Spellcraft is just bad. But I feel it's funny, because I constantly say this about certain things in Phobies. I feel like there's some mechanics in games because... And it could be... Like, the mechanic could be fine in one game, and then in a different game it's terrible. And in order to make it good where it is terrible, you have to push the thing to the point of breaking it. And I think that happens in Phobies a fair amount, and I think it's also, because we're talking about Hearthstone Battlegrounds here, it's also true there. Sometimes these things happen. Alright, we got multiple Hevos here, and this is not looking good for Koro. Boop. Goo. Goo. You know, I actually could have used this plushie for Atona's initial toy break. I just realized. This is 100% over-engineered, because why do people have plushies with zippers? So you can, like, put keys or coins in there? I think it actually said that on the tag. You could put coins in here. Who's carrying coins that you need this to get? Like, get out of here. This is over-engineered. This is just a plushie. Stop putting pockets on plushies. That makes no sense. That's dumb. Wham! That is a Moffat. Heralding the end. Tick, because why not? You know, this is a map that is very orange, as is this tile set, but this one feels less offensively orange. I think even though the disease tiles ring the outside, the purple breaks it up just enough that it doesn't feel like it's as bad. Like, Phobopolis and Rush Hour actually feel painful to look at sometimes. They are so orange. Apparently we're on Team Bugs again. We got Wiggy, we got Maggie, and we got Tick. Willy Billy. Slapping the crap out of people. Do we have another bomb ready? That shouldn't be ready, is it? It is. Ooh. Ouchtown Population Kuro's team. That's 4 Phobies to 2. For you mathematicians out there, that's twice as many. I don't know why the Tick running all the way around taking the scenic route like that was so funny, but it was. That was adorable. That was adorable. GG. GG. Alright, bonus game here. We got Master Dark, we got Shinra. We're on Chapeltown. Now, the word on the street is that this is an interesting game. I'll be the judge of that. Can't tell if I got bit by something or not, chat. It's that time of year where there's bugs. It's also that time of year where I'm gaining a ton of weight. I need to stop eating so much shit. I'm eating way too much junk food. It's also because I hurt myself exercising, like, a while ago, and I just can't shake the injuries, so, like, it makes it difficult for me to exercise properly. I'm also using it as an excuse just to not exercise at all, which is not good, so don't do that. Alright, so this is pretty standard, I think. We've only had this map for a few days, and I feel like we've already kind of established these are the standard openers. These are the standard responses. So Stabby is probably outside of that, though. Part of it's because this is going to be annoying to position. Because you do have to go out of your way to get away from the poison tiles. They don't I mean, they'll do more damage to a dimensional, but it's going to take a while. It's just extra effort you have to put in and wasting resources like a muffin or something. But Master Dark here, bringing the giggles on board, which definitely makes sense. Evo 2.0 coming out of Shinra. Neither player committing to an electrical at this point yet, which seems a little odd. $1,400. That's a lot of stats there, Luffy. That's a lot of stats. That's, I don't think I've seen that yet. It's so... Oh, speaking of electricals, we got a little Sparky. It's funny, because Storybook Brawl, it was not uncommon at many points in the game to have, oh, my board is multiple guys in the thousands. When I play Hearthstone Battlegrounds, it is much more often whoever's winning the lobby has like multiple guys in the 300 to 400 range. And that's like, oh my god, that's a big guy. Or multiple things that are there, usually like Quillbore, cycling things, or, you know, stuff like that. Maybe like the old Gulacabra. But then you go over to Storybook Brawl and they're like, nah, we just want big numbers. Big numbers. So without a displacement tool, how is Master Dark going to get this Sparky to connect? They're just going to walk it straight into him? Have we seen a Clopster in every single one of Master Dark's games? I know they love Clopster. Notably, not that many Shove Sharks. Precisely 0 Phantoms. And yes, we watch one of PvZ games. That's a cookin' Hevo. Hevo does have the spot to retreat to, but it will take an extra move, meaning no attack, if that's going to happen. Getting a displacement here. This is a pretty good invade from Shinra, hypothetically. Oh, that guy? Yeah, but that's not a permanent boost, is it, Luffy? Like, when it doubles its stats, isn't it only... I assumed it was for that combat. Picking off the Jin Sting. This is a somewhat exposed Sparky. But Fireball is down. Stabby and Hevo 2.0 don't represent that much damage, and we actually get a challenge play here from the Cassowary to make sure that it doesn't get poisoned. Very well played counterattack by Master Dark here. Again, actually, so I liked what Shinra had done, mostly because of the displacement at the end. It's like, all right, I put a bunch of damage on you and separated you, so you're not going to be able to get a great counterattack. And yet a great counterattack was found anyway, coming back in, collapsing back on the team, and dealing a ton of damage. And by a ton of damage, I mean actually removing things from the board. That's probably the big issue with Shinra's push, is that nothing left the table. Oh, look at this Hevo. Okay, I was about to say, we probably do need the Sparky there in order to threaten a Hevo that tries to come after Master Dark's Hevo. Because you do need to buy a little bit of time in order to utilize these 10 keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phobies. I don't love this, because that's a dead... You're trading Hevos here, aren't you? I guess you can threaten the kill on the Stabby on the follow-up turn here as Shinra, so that isn't terrible. You do have a 5-to-1 panic point advantage, and that heart is at roughly half health right now. 0 keys remaining for Shinra, 10 for Master Dark. How are they going to try and pull this back? You have to be wary of you're fired. You have to try and push some damage. I think you got to kill the Hevo this turn, but you don't want to lose the Sparky. That's 7 keys invested. Even putting aside the electrical advantage against Hevo 2.0, you don't want to just throw away 7 keys. Now, we're getting 8 keys there for, well, at least 3, I guess. Clops are taking points. And then Yeti coming in. Fire and Ice. Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I should make that a point redemption for every time this happens. Because it happens frequently enough that we could have a saying about it, but not frequently enough that it's a constant. Cassowary positioning is kind of interesting. Well, I guess that makes sense. Alright, so we're cooking the Sparky. Makes sense. The displacement here is great because it keeps the Klepto on the fire, pushes damage, and gets it out of range so you're not getting beat up. Ooh, actually, there is fire under the boss. When does that go away? Because that would help prevent or at least mitigate some of the freeze that is inevitably going to be coming in. Alright, looks like the fire tile's already gone. Challenge play inbound, get the freeze on the boss, no thaw happening anytime soon. And all of a sudden, it's like Hevo 2.0 has got to carry this entire team. Blinky has a shocking amount of damage output. Alright, down goes Yeti. Cassowary's not long for this world, but you are able to take down the Klepto. Can this boss thaw in time? Oh, it's gonna thaw because we're going for the Hevo, not for the boss. Can't get poisoned more if you're already poisoned. I mean, you can, but not from the tiles. Cassowary down. Blinky's trying for a push here. That makes sense. Given the board state. Boss is now thawed, but that's a lot of damage. Giggles can pour it on. That's a dead boss. That's a dead boss. Ooh. K9 threatening the Blinky. Panic point advantage. Neither player. It's even. However, the Giggles is out of position. That means the K9 is racing the Blinky. Heart damage versus health damage. Uh-oh. Shinra forced to try and break off. Couldn't quite do it. GG. Well played. Well, that's going to do it for the breakdowns from this week's Monster of the Week. There are, of course, a ton of other games played, but we can't look at all of them. There's just not enough time. If you're interested in playing in Monster of the Week, our weekly tournament series where you can win coffee just for playing, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that is, of course, in the description, where you'll find, well, also the link for this live stream. And it's about the like and subscribe button in the general vicinity. Hashtag just saying. That's going to do it for this time. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.